Counseling is a process, that you enlighten people to have a broader view of what they are dealing with, and they can go home and come back and tell you, I think these are the things I should do. Then you help them to look at it and so it is not judgmental, and it is not just a waste of time where people just come and talk and talk and talk, and you just listen, and it go. No, it's an interactive session. As they talk, okay, you also pump in some things, and I'll come to those what are those things that we should be talking about in a minute. So in Islam, this thing is well established, very, very well established. If we go and read the Sababun Nuzul of Surah Al-Mujadala, it is about a woman, Khawla. It was a very critical, very serious situation, and she had a disagreement with her husband. The husband told her that if your back from today is like the back of my mother. And that is what people say during the time of Jahiliyyah. So this is what her husband said to her, even in Islam. So the woman decided that, okay, if this is what you are saying, then I will never have anything to do with you. So the man left the house at that time, went to relax, and came back and told her that he wants to have, conjugal relationship with her. Then she refused, and there was a fight. During the fight, Khawla related in the hadith that she was younger than him, so she was able to push him away, though she was not wearing any hijab. So she said she left the house and went to a neighbor, and collected a cloak or an hijab there and went to the Prophet. And when she got to the Prophet, she narrated everything. Aisha said when she was talking, that she was looking at them from a distance, that she couldn't hear what Khawla was telling the Prophet. But the Prophet kept telling her, Khawla, your husband is an old man. Go and be patient with him and go home. Khawla said, I will not go until Allah intercedes in this matter. And within a very short time, Allah commanded Angel Jibril to go down surface of the earth and reveal to the Prophet ﷺ Surah Al-Mujadala. He said, قَدْ سَمِعَ اللَّهُ قَوْلَ الَّتِي تُجَادِلُكَ فِي زَوْجِهَا. He said, I have heard, Allah has heard the complaint of the argument, the dialogue between you, Muhammad, and the woman that came to complain about, her husband. And this is the basis that says that when marriages are out of control, you can go to somebody, you can go to a counselor, you can go to an imam to seek help. This woman went to the Prophet to seek help, but eventually it was Allah that came immediately to her aid. It means Allah himself is a counselor, and he has demonstrated to us that when it comes to marital issues, we should not waste time with it. We should always be eager to intervene and help couples. Let me remind us that when Aisha radhiyallahu anha when a rumor was carried about her that she engaged in infidelity, it took months before Allah revealed a verse to clean Aisha of that rumor. But look at this woman. She came to the Prophet, and within minutes, based on what she came for, a crisis, a conflict between her and her husband, Allah revealed verses immediately. Also, there was a case of a man that came to the Prophet's house, that came to Umar's house and knocked on the door, and sooner than later that he knocked, started hearing the voice of Umar's wife talking at Umar, shouting at Umar, and he said he didn't hear Umar at all. Then the man turned back and started going. Then Umar opened the door and said, come. The man said, no, I have answer. Umar said, no, the answer you have is not full. Come, let me give you the full answer. And the hadith went on, and Umar sermonized the man. Another instance, another companion came to Umar. For me, Umar is my model when it comes to marriage counseling. He came to Umar and said, yeah, Umar, I want to divorce my wife. And Umar said, you want to divorce your wife? Litaskunu alayya. Allah said there should be tranquility. He said, I can't find tranquility with her. Waja'ala bainahum mawadda. Allah said He has put love in between the two of you. He said, I don't love her anymore. Then Umar now said, if you don't love her anymore, then warahma, don't you have mercy for her any longer? You know, and the conversation went on, and we have on record that the man did not, divorce, did not go ahead with the divorce mission. This is just to establish the fact that what we are doing today, or what we are learning today, has basis in Islam, and it's going to be very helpful for us as Muslims. So, what are the practical steps that we should take? There are 6 practical steps. The first one is when people come to us, there is what we call developing rapport. We have to develop rapport with them. And this is, we create a warm and friendly environment, an environment that is understanding, an atmosphere that is peaceful, that is loving with our clients. Now, regardless of what we have heard about them, as the imam, you might have been hearing that, one woman is very troublesome woman. So eventually, the husband came to you and narrated all sorts of things, and you invited the woman, and when the woman came, you are already profiling her, judging her, before you start listening to her. No, this is not what we should do. So how do we create this rapport? We start with a smile. As a counselor, regardless of what problem you are facing, you have to always put up a smile when your clients are around you. Then give a complimentary remark. Say something good about them. Aja, this your hijab is looking very nice. Aja, how are your children? In fact, you have very, very good children. Oh, Aja, how is your work? I understand you work with so whatever. Oh, that's great. Just say something, make a complimentary remark about the person. It may be the dressing, it may be the person's name, it may be whatever, just to make that person to be relaxed, and offer them a seat. Don't talk to them while they are standing. Okay, seek after their welfare and the welfare of their household. But however, you don't have to be officious when you do this. Don't let it look like you are a robot and you're just following a process. When you start practicing, it will come to you naturally, and you'll be doing it effortlessly. Still, under creating rapport, you have to be able to create a kind of empathy. If a woman tells you, or a man tells you that, I have been living with my wife for the past 4 years and it has been hell for me, just say, sorry about that. I can imagine. So you're just creating a kind of empathy. You're not sympathizing, but you're trying to create, let the person understand that you know what he's talking about, that you understand what he's saying. You're trying to put yourself in that person's shoe. Okay, so somebody came to me and started narrating incident that, my father died a very long time ago. It was very touching for me. And the client started to cry. Okay, so what do you do to show empathy? So just tell the person that, no, I understand what you are saying. You can give the person an handkerchief to wipe his or her tears. You can offer a drink, or a water for the person to calm down. Then you tell the person that, I can understand. Okay, I lost my father too on the 25th of July, so whatever. So I know how it feels. So when people know that you also feel something as they are feeling, they will open up for you. Okay, so if it's something you don't have a direct experience, you can say, I can remember my best friend lost, his dad, and I was there with him. So I can understand what you are also feeling. Just be sensitive to what they are saying. I made a mistake very long time. I was still a student counselor at that time. We were supposed to go for a camping program, and the sister came and said, I'm not going because my mother is not feeling fine. Instead of me to show empathy, what I told her is, are you the doctor? So if your mother is going to die, are you the one that will save her? If you go or you don't go, is your mother going to? And I just said all sorts of rubbish. And years after, I had the opportunity of interacting with the sister again, and she told me that, as good as you are, you have done something I will never forgive you. I said, what? And she narrated that incident. And what I should have done, as a counselor was to say, no, you're not going. Even I'm not going for that camp too. I'm going to stay with you. We are going to see her. We are going to take care of your mother. I'll get a doctor. I'll get this. I'll get that. And before you know it, the sister may end up saying, now that my mom is being taken care of, I think I should go. Okay, so that is how powerful empathy can be and how painful it can be if we don't use it very well. And finally, under this rapport is that you must acknowledge your clients. If your clients come to you and say, I have been married for 5 years, just say, wow, 5 years. That's great. That's great. Don't say 5 years. Because you have been married for 22 years or 25 years or 40 years, you don't say 5 years. Actually, and you have just started. You don't belittle that. You have to acknowledge. So acknowledgement is that look at the strength of the couples and acknowledge it and praise it, and encourage them. This is the first step that we have to take when we are trying to counsel people. Number 2 is identifying the problem. People will come and narrate stories. They can talk for 1 hour. 1 hour. So what do? The first thing is you have to develop a very good listening skill. Please don't tell your client that you have been talking since morning, I've been listening. In fact, I'm tired of what you are saying. Don't ever say that. They will not talk to you again. If they go, they will not come back to you. So you have to develop a very good listening skill, and you have to prompt them. Don't let the discussion be a one-way affair. While they are talking, you make eye contact at times, you nod, you say yes, you do some prompts, so that they will know that you are following them. Then you can also say, yes, I'm with you. I can get your point. Oh, wow. Okay, so then you can ask some few questions. I'll come to questioning very soon. However, there is this mnemonics, SOLAR, that we use, and the first one is saying, always sit squarely. You can't sit down and put your head on the table and you tell your client to continue to talk to you. No, you have to sit squarely. Then you have to be open. Don't fold your hands and look so serious and look them with one side of the eye. No, you have to show a kind of openness and make sure you are interactive. You are following them and you are giving them some nods, some yes, some comments. Then maintain eye contact. Then always feel relaxed. Don't no matter what they are saying, don't be tensed up. So that while somebody is saying something, you're already putting your hand on your head and say, hey, Mogbe. No, you have to be glass. And glass, when somebody is, if you are looking sad, what will you see on the glass? Is sadness. So if that person is talking about a sad moment, you also try to put up a sad face. If the person is saying something that is funny or enjoyable or laughable, you also try to laugh about it. Okay, so but watch out for this. If you are not feeling fine, please don't engage them in a session. Now, if you have some things that are bothering your mind, you have some concerns that will not make you to be able to listen to them, please don't engage them. Now, don't be too eager. Somebody is saying something, she's taking her time or he's taking his time, and you are saying that, please quickly round up, go to the end of the story. No, don't be eager to get to the end of the story. Let them take their time. At times when people speak their mind, when they share their problem is solved. Just last week, somebody called me and said, I just need to talk to a counselor. And she came and I listened to her after speaking for about 2 hours. And I was just able to give some few comments. And by the time I say something, you know what she said? She said, Alhamdulillah, you make me laugh. So some people just want to bear their minds. Problem shared is half solved. And if what the person is saying is similar to the problem you are also going through, please don't let the tension show in you and don't feel too bad about it. Okay, then communicating, like I said, concreteness. What is the problem? what is this person saying? These are the questions you ask yourself. So when they say some things, you try to restate what they are saying. That, oh, okay, if I understand you correctly, you said your husband came home last night and slapped you. So you just try to restate what they are saying. It's like almost quoting them verbatim. Then you can also paraphrase. Maybe after they have spoken for about 10 minutes, you say, okay, sorry, ma, just for you to understand, so that we'll be on the same page. What you are trying to say is this. So that if you are not on the same page, if you are not getting what he or she is saying, you will not have wasted a lot of time. Can you imagine if you have to listen to somebody for 1 hour, and by the time you are trying to tell the person what the problem is now saying, no, that is not what I'm saying. In fact, the person will be frustrated, will be tired. So at intervals, always ensure that you summarize and try to give them a kind of a paraphrase of the problem they are sharing with you. But always ask yourself this question. At the end of all the narration, ask, what is the problem that you are trying to solve? Then questions. There are different types of questions that we can ask. There are what we call open-ended questions. As a counselor, you must be very skillful in asking questions. It is not enough for somebody to come to you and narrate whatever, and you take them hook, line, and sinker. No. You must develop a very good questioning skill. Then you ask open-ended questions. These are questions that you do not have one answer, and they stimulate thinking. For example, okay, so what did you see before you got married to your husband? Said, then you try to recall and tell you things generally about how she felt at the beginning of the relationship. Then we have clarifying questions. Like the woman was saying something and said, so he came home and slapped me and broke bottle on my head and do this and do that. So you have to say, sorry, ma, did you say he slapped you? He said, yes. Is it with the right hand or with the left hand? Is it on your cheek or where exactly? Like I say, actually, it was my shoulder. So you're just trying to clarify. Then he broke bottle on my head. Which kind of bottle? Do you know that it can be bottled water, plastic? But because you didn't clarify, you just write down he broke a bottle on his head, and you'll be imagining whether it is the whole Coca-Cola bottle. You can't compare the whole Coca-Cola bottle to the malt bottle they are doing now, and you can't compare the malt bottle to a bottled water, which is just in the plastic. So it's very good we ask clarifying questions. Then we also ask creative questions, like what would be your approach if there were no constraint? Okay, so what would you like that your husband should be sharing, should be doing with you if you want to spend quality time together?
Sir, you need to change the slide. The slide, sir.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Then you also ask process questions. Then you ask follow-up questions or probing questions. Then you can ask closed questions. Closed questions are straight question of yes or no. Okay. You just want to find out a fact. You want to clarify a fact. You want to get a fact. You ask very close question, like, in what year did you get married? 1987. Very clear. Okay, so right now, do you want to divorce your husband or not? He said, no, I just want a yes or no, so that we know what line of treatment that we should go. It's okay, yeah, no, I don't want to divorce. It's okay, fine. So you're just trying to get a clear answer of what the person is talking about. Okay, so after that, you now go to the third step, which is generating different course of action. Now, after establishing the problem, maybe it is the husband or the wife that came to you, and in the process of, getting information, you keep having one session or the other, with them. Now, at the initial stage, where you are trying to identify the problem, there's this interesting question you should always ask them, that at the end of this counseling session, what do you want to achieve? What are you expecting? So let them tell you what they are expecting so that you know your goal. It can be very funny. Marital issues are very, very funny. You will see, husband and wife changing the goalpost at different times. While you are solving one problem, they will come with another angle. You are solving that, they come with another angle. So it's going to be a vicious circle. You just be going around. But ask them from the beginning, what do they want to achieve? So based on the objective, on the goal that has been set, you now listen to them and generate an history of their marriage, and you also generate, what are the issues that they are having, and you bring them together. Now, this you can't do in one session. In fact, by the time you are getting to this step, you will have done 2 or 3 sessions. So when it now comes to this step 3, you now start to brainstorm. Okay, so let me give an instance here. Maybe the husband and wife, they're having a challenge of, let me see, maybe sexual related issues. This is one issue that people don't like to talk about. But I tell you, 90% of family crises are usually around things like this. Okay, so you now realize that the man has some challenges. Like I once had a client, though the husband is a bit old, not so old that he cannot give birth to children, but he usually experiences weak erection. And the wife, second wife actually, she's actually young, and she wants to bear children. Okay, so they now have issues, 2 principal issues. Number 1 is the sex-related issue, and the second one is the man is very jealous. So here you now come to terms. Now, let me also say that at times, it is one person that is willing to come for counseling.
Sorry, sir. You have about 10 minutes, sir.
All right, thank you.
We want to give people opportunity to ask questions.
All right, that's fine. At times, I'm trying to say that, okay, husband and wife can come for counseling. At times, only one of them will come for counseling. So if the 2 of them are for counseling, that's faster, that's good. But if it is only one person, you can still go ahead and do the counseling. So in this instance, it is the wife that came for counseling. So we now have to start looking at generating, different courses of action, that what can be done. She will be thinking, you also be thinking, she will suggest. Now, you have to be creative when you are trying to bring about different options that can be done. And at this point, don't worry about, judging a particular suggestion. For example, she says, maybe I should just pack out of the house and divorce. Don't say, no, that is not good, though. Don't say that. Just, take everything. All suggestions you put in the basket. And I always encourage that when you have a case that you are handling, you can always discuss without mentioning names of the people involved. Talk to another counselor to seek, guidance or seek advice. Then you go to step 4. Step 4 is now, you now take each matter one by one. You want to leave your husband. That is one option. What are the consequences? If you leave your husband, how is your family going to take it? How is your husband family going to take it? What is going to happen to your children? You are looking at the consequences. What's going to happen to you? You are still young. What if you don't get a suitor, somebody to marry you, quickly after the marriage? How will you be able to cope when you now have some, emotion for, sex? So you look at all the potential consequences.
Next slide, sir.
Of all.
Next slide.
You look at the potential consequences of all the, all the course of action, all the options that are on the table. You look at their potential consequences, and be sure that you assess all of them and you are fair to all the parties that are involved in the counseling session. So it's at this point you eliminate the options that clearly do not give desired results. Now, it is not you, but you and your client. By the time you do the analysis, now say, I think we should put this one aside. This is how you now eliminate some of these options that are not going to work for her or for him. Then you now review the remaining options and see what combination, or is it a single action that will be carried out. And you now come to step 5, which is when you are selecting a course of action. And when you select the course of action, you develop it into actionable plans. Okay, so you now go home today and meet your husband and tell your husband maybe he will go and see a doctor that may help in solving his sexual matter. Okay. Okay, so you have to consider the following. You have to consider that you are just when you are doing analysis of the selected course of action. You have to look at integrity. Ask yourself, would you want, this discussion that you are having to be, reported in the press? Do you think if another colleague hear about this session, they will be okay with it? You just ask yourself this question so that you can be sure that you are putting in your best as a counselor in this matter and you have a reason to justify whatever you are saying. Then you consider the universality of what you are saying, of what you are considering, the course of action you are considering. And if the course of action you have selected has some ethical issues, then you have to go back and review everything from the beginning. From step 3, you go back to step 3 and generate a new course of action, because what you are trying to do has ethical issue. For example, if the lady now feels that I think I should poison my husband and just so that I can be free, and this has an ethical problem. So if by the time you now say this is not going to fly, you have to go back to the beginning. And the final thing is implementing the course of action. Now here, the agreed course of action may not be something that you think is going to work, but as long as the client thinks that it's a way out, you have to allow it. Now, there was a brother who came and the wife was cheating on him, and he has evidence. He showed me evidences. The brother opened a Facebook account with another name and started chatting, sending messages to the wife and proposed to marry her, started sending money to her. The lady was collecting the money without knowing that it is her husband, And the marriage was just 2 years. They have a baby at that time. Now, during the course of counseling, and we're looking at the options, the guy has one fear, and the fear is, what will people say about my marriage that is just less than 2 years? I can't stand it. So I said, okay, so what will you think you should do? He said, I will go back home and I'll still talk to her and bear it. Okay, I know that is not going to work for him. I know he's not trying to see the problem as a problem and face it, but I have to be patient with him. So I said, no problem. Go home, talk to your wife. If you can allow me to talk to her too, I will not mind. So when you choose a course of action and you set out the steps, always give your support to your clients. Don't give them an impression that, well, that is what you like to do. Go and do it. If it is good or bad, don't worry. You come back and give me the report. You don't say that. Support them on whatever step. At the end of the day, 6 months after, the brother came back and said, in fact, I think I can't take it any longer. now he has been able to discover about 4 people that the wife is going out with, and he said, I can't take it any longer. Whatever is going to happen, then we looked at the next option, and he went ahead. The brother has remarried now, and is fine. Eventually, the former wife had to go. Okay, so you have to be patient with your clients and go at their own pace until you are all on the same page as regards what you want to do, and you have a minimal follow-up that you have to do on your clients. And if he says that I'm going to have a discussion with my husband today, and okay, say, excuse me, okay, today is Saturday, okay, you can give me a call on Sunday so that I will know how the whole thing went. So that's a minimal follow-up. Don't call the person before the discussion and say, hello, are you okay? Are you ready for the discussion? No, you don't need it. Immediately after the session, allow your client to think about what they want to do and fashion out a way of doing it. And maybe on Sunday now, if you don't see her call, you can just send a message to her. If she's not calling you, please don't call. Don't call. You have to wait for your client to get back to you. But you can do minimal prompting. Send message, send WhatsApp, and see whether he or she will call you. Well, I think I will stop here and take our the interactive session. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and I hope you will have benefited one or two things from this session. In هذه تذكرة فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه سبيل والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Alhamdulillah, 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 Rabbil Alameen. That was a wonderful one from Mr. Sulaiman Ogumuyiwa. We say Jazakumullahu khairan for your time, for the knowledge you have shared with us. And we pray Allah will not use it against you, both in this world and in the hereafter. For those that joined us late, that was Mr. Ogumuyiwa Sulaiman, who is Deputy Director in the Office of Education, Quality Assurance, Ministry of Education, Lagos State. He's a consultant in education and counseling, and the lead counselor with M Solution Consulting International. Alhamdulillah. Please, for those of you that have questions, send in your questions. We will not, I can see some hands raised. We don't want to, because of our time, we don't want to allow people take questions, ask questions orally. So please send your questions to the chat box, and we'll be sure that inshallah we'll attend to them. So as you're sending to the chat box, the lecturer will see it, and we can always call his attention to the ones he has not answered. Please, we may not allow anybody to ask questions now because of our time. Please, a very quick one. Here we have Dr. Mrs. Hayrat Sulaiman, our lecturer for last week, is here with us on the session. Would like to give her like 2 minutes to say one or two things because she's here, and I know this is her field too. She happens to be my own lecturer and inshallah my PhD supervisor. So we'll give her 2 minutes to say one or two things as it has to do with the practical approach to solving marital conflict. This is also to ensure that people send in their questions. Please, after the 2 minutes, if we do not see any of your questions, we assume you do not have any. So please send your questions now for our lecturer to prepare to answering those questions. Dr. Mrs. Hayrat Sulaiman, please. You have the floor. Okay, let me unmute her. Sorry. I had forgotten that we did muted everybody. So Alhaji, I've sent Doctor, I've sent a request. You can unmute now. 2 minutes, ma.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I'm really sorry I was just going to be a participant. But actually, I want to commend the effort of my brother, who also happened to be my in-law, because she's married to my one of my sisters anyway.
Oh.
Yes, now she's Kudrat's husband, and
Yes, I
Kudrat is
am.
my really good sister. Yeah. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, ma'am.
Nam, thank you for that beautiful presentation. I am just going to say, in addition to all of that, there are many other things that could be looked into. And I'm sure, like the CM have said, this is like a tip of an iceberg. There is going to be more other ones that will be able to now pick each and every of the conflicts. What are those probably conflicts that could happen in marriages, such as he has identified sexual problems, and as one major one, which usually causes it. And being Muslims that we have, the couple doesn't normally want to come out, especially when it has to be, if it is a man issue. Like I mentioned last week, that in most cases we face the woman, forgetting that the problem may also be that of the man. That is when it is about fertility. But when it is not fertility, it's maybe what we call sexual arousal, sexual ejaculation, so many other sexual problems. I talk about motility, and all of these are issues that we need to help them about. Like I've also mentioned, I said one of it could be as simple as just asking the wife to bathe. No, it may also be the husband. Take a good bath whenever you think you want to, and let to have sexual relationship with your wife, and then always use perfume, and then make sure the bed is laid, make sure the environment is clean, that could stimulate the husband, or if it is the wife. That is one of the practical solution to that kind of conflict. And another conflict could be nagging. Let's say it's nagging, and then the wife is the one that likes you. And we always think it's the wife. Like you said, you see now, I said wife. It may sometimes be the husband. We also have nagging husbands, which is it's the husband that will be the one that will be talking, picking at everything and all of that. How will the counselor? And the first thing is to say, how much, what are those things that you talk about? You talk much about. Why do you say them? And then either both, whoever is the nagging person out of them will state how many times, how often, what prompted it, how does it come, and then before you know it, you'll be able to identify what actually causes the problem, and then it could be solved. Sometimes it could be financial. It will be financial issue. And then when it is financial, especially when we've observed that oftentimes when the husband is not buoyant enough, there is this ikora things that comes, and then he's always snapping and nagging, and what practically you could just do is just identify. First is, has he been doing it before? When does he start doing this thing? What prompts when it started? When what prompts it? That is what precedes, what kind of action precedes the nagging or the snapping or the aggressive behavior. And it is the prompting, the situation before, the situation after, that will help in deciding, okay, this is what you must do. And like Brother Gumiwa have said, a counselor doesn't say, this is what you must go and do. It is through the questioning and the answers. It is the person that, what do you now think you can do? How do you now think you can stop him from this nagging? Have you identified what is the cause of it? Do you think how do you think you can go about it? And I've said it could be, I have done everything and I don't know what to do. I have resorted to prayer and I don't know. And then you say, okay, what are those things that you have done? I have avoided. And if avoiding is there, then that's, do you think avoiding him, you will not say, why are you avoiding? Avoiding is not a good one. It is the reason, why are you avoiding this? Have you sat him or her down to talk about it? Yes, and what time? It may be the time of the talk that may not be appropriate. When is the time that you always talk? What time? Is it when he's ready to go to work, or when he has just come back from work, or when do you think, when do you, and if you identify that it may be an inappropriate time, the time that for the talk is not the ideal time, then this is when the counselor can you look for, have you tried? Then we now suggest different time.
One more minute now because of Maghrib.
Yeah, just suggest different times that you think appropriate talk could take place, and it goes on and on and on that. And we could pick each one, for example, from all of the causes, what those things that cause marital problems, and then try to now look at them practically, how we could solve them. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Jazakumullahu khairan jaza. Thank you very much, Ma. We really appreciate your valuable contributions. To Dr. Mr. Sulaiman now. I am sure you've gone through our questions. People have really sent in so many questions, so I don't know how many of them you were able to attend to. Sir, have you gone through the questions, or do I need to read some of these questions out? I don't think we can take all of them.
Yes, I think you should just look at some and read out.
Okay, on rapport building, which is very essential, someone said, how can this be effective in the new normal of conducting counseling sessions online? Can we build rapport online?
Yes, it's a must. You must always build rapport. Okay, so at MSCI we do a lot of online now. Most of our sessions we do online because of the new normal. So I was to take a couple on premarital. It's their last session, and their names, when it was sent to me, the husband is Toib, the wife is Toiba. So my first remark is, what a wonderful name. I'm sure you guys are going to be wonderful couples. So they laughed and they were relaxed. That was the first time they were meeting me. That's rapport. You understand? Just look for something that you think is going to be exciting about, about these people, and say it. You have to build rapport, even if it is online. Yes.
All right, sir. Can counseling session be a single session? Is it possible?
Well, it's possible, but on most cases, it should be more than a session. All right. So that you allow yourself time to look at the problem and give task. It's not always the best that just have one session and you finish the issue. At least there should be a follow-up session.
All right. For couples that have made up their mind for divorce, is it necessary to counsel them? Maybe you should just allow them to go their separate ways.
No, there is need for counseling. Now, counseling is about informed decision, taking informed decision. Now, the two of you want to separate, fine. Go and read, if they are Muslims, they should go and read Surah Al-Talaq and see what is there. Then you now raise questions about children. What do you do about children? How much about money that will be given to, for the upkeep of the children? What are those things? Is it the man divorcing the woman or the woman divorcing the man? So there should still be counseling. How they can maintain a peaceful relationship even in divorce. So they need counseling.
Right. Okay, in case our branches, we have asked our branches to set up counseling committee, but this person want to ask that, is it possible for someone to be a counselor without having a university degree in guidance and counseling?
Yes, you can. Now, you see, it is practice. By the time you start, your interest will arouse, and you will now start to take some other courses. Now, nobody is not going to be like, if you don't have this degree, you won't do counseling. Show interest, attend courses like this, do online courses. Then as you go on, you now realize that I think I need a degree or I need a certificate course in counseling. Then you can go for it. But that should not,
Okay.
um, deprive us that opportunity of helping people.
All right. I would like to take this as the last one. We have some questions that I skipped. Please, the questioners should please forgive me, pardon me. It's because of our time. We want to quickly have a 5 minute discussion on LMS. Majority of us here are having problem logging into LMS, and definitely there's going to be exams or sort of after the training. So our national membership secretary will be updating us on LMS. That's just for a few minutes before we take the closing prayer. So now a last question. In the situation where it's just one of the couple that is interested in counseling, the other one does not want to attend, what can the counselor do, sir?
So there are two approaches. We have couple approach, when the two couples will come for counseling, and we have single spouse approach. This is where only one of the couple is coming for counseling. So if it is couple approach, it is usually effective and faster. But if it is just a single spouse, it's slower and it's effective on one part, not effective on the other part. So it can be done.
All right. Jazakumullahu khairan jaza once again, sir. We really appreciate this effort. Please, for those of you that have your questions unattended to, we will appreciate it if you can copy your question from the chat box and send it to our main WhatsApp platform. Inshallah, we will collect your questions and send them to Mr. Sulaiman Ogumuyiwa, and the response, inshallah, that we get from him, we also get it back to you on the platform. Please do that, and pardon us, please, for Salat time sake. So, Mr. Naibi, Kazim Naibi, please, you have the floor. If you can make it 3 minutes, we will really appreciate this.
Assalamu alaikum. So I really to address the concerns that people have around the LMS. So for those of us who are here, who are having issues with the LMS, I just want to put us through the process quickly. Like we all know, we'll send the link to everybody. Just go to learning.nasfa.org/login and put your, we've sent your login details to you. We expect that you have the login details. So when you log in, you will see the different courses that we have. So we have the basic trainers course, which was done earlier in the month, last month. Then this is the counseling course. So as we move forward, the course materials will be uploaded here. So just click on the course and click enroll. And when you are done, just click continue course. So for all the course, you have downloadable materials like this particular session is being recorded, is going to be uploaded here. When you come back, maybe tomorrow morning, you are going to find this course here. And you're also going to find the presentation that was made here too. So I just want to quickly run through this so that those of us who are having issues will have, because we've gotten a lot of complaints around this particular platform. And it's better that we have our email and password handy, because when we want to write exams, we're going to be using them to do our exams online. So if you have any questions, keep dropping them on the WhatsApp group, we'll attend to them on the WhatsApp group. Thank you.
Jazakumullahu khairan jaza. That is our National Membership Secretary, Brother Kazim Naibi. Always there, always ready to do dawah. So I would now go to the Chief Missioner of NASFAT to help us acknowledge our guest lecturer and round off today's session till we meet again next week for the dua, with the dua. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
اللهم صل على محمد وسلم اللهم صل على محمد وسلم الحمد لله الحمد لله الحمد لله رب العالمين. My brother, there's nothing we can offer you except to say jazakumullahu khairan kathira. You have done wonderfully well. You have really educated my people, and I want to confess that this cannot be done in one session. We are looking at situation where we are going to come back maybe the next 2-3 months, inshallah. The same thing we said to Dr. Irat last week. Although Dr. Irat, we do another session during this diet. We are going to look at how we are going to bring you back. The work of any missionary is counseling. We want people to understand that. How can you be counseling without having this kind of knowledge that you have imparted today? And I've been doing it the way Ozigba, the way we say Ozigba. We want to do it right this time around. May Allah reward you abundantly. Allah reward you abundantly. Something counseling is something we are going to want to focus on now. Not to rely on the fact apart from the knowledge of Dahawa. We want to focus on counseling because if people's marriages are not on sound footing, they are not emotionally balanced. They cannot be spiritually balanced, and that is why we are taking keen interest in making sure that all our missionaries have the rudimentary knowledge of counseling. We are not saying they are going to become professional. They are not going to be novices, inshallah. May Allah reward you abundantly. May Allah be with you. By the time we finish the training in 3 or 4 weeks' time, we will review our counseling processes. We will look at it. It used to be 3 months. We have to increase it to about 6 months because of what you have just said. It's deep. It's deep. It means we have been playing. We have been joking. May Allah be with you. Inna atayna. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر.
I'm looking at it. I'm going to meet with my colleagues. You may set some questions for us because we want to know how much understanding of some of the concepts it my people have. Not just talking, not just say, well, how was that lecture? The lecture was interesting. Did you understand the concept? We have to set some questions for them to attempt because our certificate is not cheap. Affect Leadership Academy, they want to issue the certificate, and it's a standard institution. We want to see that if you are given a certificate of participation in a counseling session from AFEC, people will know that you have gone through the training. Brother Suleiman, set up some questions for us. Dr. Msara will do the same thing. Then we will fill the dates for the exam for those who are participating. You can see that we have changed our method now. It is no longer Mogomoya kind of a thing. It's only those who have registered, only those who have accessed their LSM, our LSM portal, that will be receiving our links henceforth. We don't want people to come and just receive the lecture and then we understand the lecture. And that is the end of it. It's purpose driven. It's meant for the missionaries who will be counseling their members. And we are having limited spaces. If those who are not to serve us officially, quote unquote, are the one enjoying the services. Those who need it will be locked out. Will be outside the fence. We are trying to avoid that. It's only for serious-minded people. That is why, henceforth, the link for participation will only be sent to those who registered. If you have not registered, next week we won't get the link. We had to share our lives in next week. We are going to be meeting another great scholar. We're talking about depression. We would like to have you around too. If you have a chance, we enjoy your company. We enjoy the knowledge that you share with us. May Allah continue to grant you longevity in the service of Islam. All the participants, I think Jazakumullah khairan for being part of this story, for being part of this effort at serving humanity through counseling. Raja Babalola, counseling committee member, may Allah continue to strengthen all of you. And may Allah add all that you are doing to a scale of good deeds on the Okeyama. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين
المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين
صلوا على النبي الكريم صلى الله عليه وسلم.